In 2010, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change introduced the Green Fund to assist developing countries in adaptation and mitigation practices to counter climate change. As the rest of Africa looked aside on the project, Rwanda welcomed it with open arms 2 years later, forming the national e-waste recycling policy. A country known for injecting heavily in technology, the Kagame-led government boldly devoted over $1.5 million to construct this e-recycling facility in Bugesera district. 5 years later, lives are being transformed. A recent research has shown that Rwanda produces close to 15,000 tons of e-waste per year, increasing at a 6% annual rate. This spells grave environmental and health threats to the locals by the day. For now, though, this is history, as electronic waste has now been turned to the advantage of the communities here. The recycling process is done in phases. After collecting the disposed gadgets like phones, TV and computer monitors, radios and other disposed gadgets from locals, they are first checked to confirm that they are completely kaput before being shredded and later put through a separation process using cutting-edge technology such as eddy currents, magnetic separation or optical identification. The program manager at Rwanda's Ministry of Trade and Industry, Olivier Mbera, demystifies the significance of this mega investment.
The recycled materials here serves as raw materials for our local industries. Giving you an example, for example, plastics. We sell them to plastic industries, and they mix it with some virgin plastics to produce like crates, tables, chairs, but also some of them we use them in the refurbishment department. We have seen that we refurbish some computers for schools, for our schools in Rwanda, in rural areas.
That old desktop computer, laptop, radio or phone lying abandoned in your store at home as garbage would actually be put to use again. The Rwandan government has invested over $1.5 million in this e-recycling facility, the first of its kind in the region and the second on the continent. The idea is to make use of such abandoned products, recycle them and put them back to communities for use again. Now the beauty is that more sooner rather than later, they will come knocking at your door because this facility will be opened to the entire East African community.
We are aiming in the very near future to start importing e-waste from a neighboring region, including Uganda, Burundi, Tanzania.
Motherland Africa has for years been a global dump for hazardous electronic waste, with Ghana and the rest of West Africa being the most affected. But with such technology to manage the scourge, this continent can be a safer place despite the ever-threatening climate change. Web Daniel Sebachije, NBS, Live at 9.